and I'll pass it over to Inspector John to provide a police update. Thank you.
The current issues we've got are burglaries. You always have burglaries in Hailham. I've been working here 20 years and there's always been a burglary issue. We've tried to combat that in certain ways. But before that we had Rolex watch robberies, that was down in Hell Village, and convenience store robberies. There was a rash of convenience store robberies across the whole of Manchester and into Cheshire. And we had some intel that it was the same people that were doing it, who were also targeting people in Hell Village, where they were taking their Rolex watches. They were attacking them with machetes and taking the Rolex watch from them. In November, we arrested 9 people in relation to that. Our serious and organised crime group looked at them, did a whole lot of work around forensics and phone work. 8 people have been charged and remanded. Rolex watch robberies have stopped, and so will the convenience store robberies across Manchester and Cheshire. So that was a really good result. My team took part in that day when we went out and arrested those. So since that's happened, we haven't had a single Rolex watch robbery where people have been attacked in the street. There's been one that was an anomaly. It seems to be an East European lady trying to take a watch off somebody's hand, but the watch robberies with machetes have stopped. In relation to burglaries, the trends seem to be German cars being taken, Asian jewellery, and Rolex watch and jewellery being taken out of those. So in relation to the German cars, there seems to be people who will be local who come and take those. There seems to be people coming from the northwest, maybe people coming from Liverpool, and they come in spikes. It isn't just Trafford that's been targeted for these, it's anywhere in South Manchester. So Stockport, there's areas there where the cars have been taken. There's Didsbury, those kind of areas as well. It's not just Manchester, it's across the whole country where the cars have been taken. We think the reason for this is if you have a dink in your car and you want a panel for your car, it's quite expensive to go and buy that from somewhere kosher, but if you go on eBay, you can find them quite cheaply. What's happening, these cars are getting stripped out for parts. Some are getting shipped abroad. We found them in containers going abroad. We found them in shops up and down the country that have been taken from this area. So that's German cars. I'll come on to how we're going to combat this in a bit because it's really exactly the same. Asian jewellery. We're never sure whether Asian families are being targeted specifically or whether it's just the demographics. And this again is in Manchester, it's across the whole of the UK, and I've done some desktop research and there are also questions being asked around the world in relation to this. Are Asian families being targeted for their jewellery? We're not quite sure. The demographics in Hale, Elbarns and Altrincham have changed drastically over the last 10 years. And we haven't got any census data because the last one was in 2011. So next year we'll get a new census and we'll get the better demographics. So when we're looking at the number of burglaries and the number of other Asian families that are getting targeted, we're not quite sure whether it's they're getting caught up in all other burglaries or whether they're being targeted specifically. There were 2 incidences week before last, 1 street, 2 burglaries, 2 days apart, very similar houses, very similar method of getting in. They've climbed onto the conservatory, gone through a first floor window, and they've targeted jewellery. One was an Asian family, one wasn't. So we're never sure whether Asian families are being targeted specifically in relation to that. The only thing I say you could do is, are criminals looking at the electoral register to identify Asian families? When you sign up for the electoral register, one of those gets you your polling card, but there is also an outward-facing copy of that which you can look in the library, and people can go along there and look for Asian names and identify the addresses. When you come to renew that, you can tick it to say you don't want to be on that, so you can get your name taken off that. So that's something you can do to combat that. And then you've got Rolex watch and jewellery robberies at houses, and those seem to be the 3 things that people are going for. So those are our current identified threats. So we're going for a partnership approach on how we're going to deal with this. The partnership includes members of the community. So with the GMP, we do proactive patrolling. We do have in Trafford a small proactive unit who will go out targeting burglars and patrolling areas where we get burglaries. We lost a lot of staff over the last 10 years with austerity, but we've felt that it's necessary to take 1 member of staff of each of our response teams to form this new group, so we've got a proactive unit who can go and do that. We target suspected offenders, so when we get intelligence that somebody is committing those offences, we target the cars, the stop the cars over, see them about. We go knock on their addresses and see what they're wearing on specific days. When we get somebody arrested for burglary, we try and get a detective who will do the investigation in relation to that. We get a detective who can do that. They've got a whole wide range of skills that they can use to bear to try and prove the offence. Where they carry a mobile phone, can we do some work to see where that phone had been on the day, the previous days when we've had burglaries committed. And then we give crime prevention advice. Just at the front here, it's on the printed sheets at the moment. One of my PCSOs does quite a good talk on crime prevention, how to make a house really secure. Grab a copy on the way out, it's worth having a read. We're also working with the Safer Communities officers. They are people who work for the council and work in my office. And we may look at a certain street, if there's always getting burglars there, what is it about that street that makes it vulnerable? Is it lighting? Is it something else? Are the trees overgrown with certain lights? And then we mentioned CCTV as well. Currently, the council CCTV, every time they buy a new camera, with the system they've got to buy a licence and ties them into that company for X many years, and it's quite expensive. They're looking to change that so it's 3G, which means they can buy cheaper cameras, put them anywhere they want to. We want to have a say in the project they're going through at the moment, to see if we can get more CCTV cameras down in our neck of the woods at pinch points where offenders may be coming into the district and leaving the district. And then you see yourselves, the good people out there. Home security, we're pushing home security. There will never be enough police officers to stop all the burglars. At the moment, we really are short on police officers. So we're pushing everybody to put the best home security that they can to make their addresses hard to target. Being good neighbours, which is really what Neighbourhood Watch is all about. Knowing who your neighbours are, speaking to your neighbours, looking out for them. We've had great results where neighbours have been looking out for the neighbours, seen somebody suspicious, phoned us, we have had patrols in the area and we've arrested burglars. So it's all about being good neighbours, being part of Neighbourhood Watch. And passing on information and your suspicions. So what we're doing at the moment is we're taking the information about burglars for the last 6 months and we're plotting them onto maps. We have had some issues. We've got a new IT system which makes our information not terribly dynamic. We can't get it in the last week, but we can get it for previous months. And we're plotting this to identify hotspot areas. So this is just an example. We've thrown it up and a couple of hotspots we've got down in here. Now, when you look at those, we've got a hotspot and then you look at it and see, well, what can we do to reduce crime in those areas? Because they're very different. This is one of the hotspots and you've got houses that are very open, you've got low hedges between them, you can see your neighbours, you'll talk to your neighbours. That's crying out for Neighbourhood Watch. That's crying out for people looking out for each other, meeting together, discussing crime prevention, and that's what we've been pushing in those areas. But there are other areas in Trafford where you've got houses that are set back. People don't know the neighbours, the lighting is poor, there are high trees there, so we've got that in a different way. Do you need Neighbourhood Watch? Possibly not, because some of those people won't know the neighbours and they've never spoken to them. And you can't see your neighbours' properties, you can't look out for them. So what do you do there? You have a look at the lighting. Can we improve the lighting? Because if it's poor lighting, gives people, burglars, chance just to pause in the shadows and decide which house they're going to go burgle. So we're going to work with the council. Can we put brighter lights in there? If we can't put brighter lights in there, can we do intensive crime prevention with the people in those streets? Get them to a meeting, discuss what they can do to make their addresses less burglar friendly, hard to get into. And where we've got streets where there's poor lighting, if the council can't afford to put better lighting in there, because they haven't got any money, can the private residents put up lights close to their perimeter that's shining on the street? Because a brightly lit street is unlikely to get targeted for burglary. That makes sense? And that's pretty much it, brother. Those are my details. Who I am, Crime Stoppers, and our contact details. This meeting is mainly about Neighbourhood Watch. Statistics say we've got good Neighbourhood Watch schemes working, crime falls. It's not just burglary, antisocial behaviour falls, criminal damage falls. There's people looking out for each other and they're contacting the police when they're seeing something suspicious, which is what it's all about. Does that all make sense? Any questions on that? That was a bit quick.
Two quick questions. CCTV.
Yeah.
Have you got any stats about the impact of CCTV on reducing crime and antisocial behaviour? So before it was this and after it was this.
You mean council CCTV in the houses?
Yeah, council CCTV.
Council CCTV. Two things it does. It allows, I haven't got the stats, but what it does do, and we've had some good examples in the last couple of weeks, is where we've got the CCTV, it allows us to identify people involved with that and then tackle them. So the last couple of weeks, running up to Christmas, we had some problems with kids causing ASB in the town centre. They were gathering and they were running through. They weren't causing any damage, but they were aping about. We were able to use the CCTV to get to the stills of these, go to the schools, find out who they were, go and visit the homes, sometimes a quick chat with family was able to stop it, sometimes we work with the council to deliver acceptable behavioural contracts, where we sit down with the child, talk about what they were doing, what it affects adult people, and they sign a contract to say how they behave. And if they don't do that, then gives us evidence to do with things such as injunctions. As a result of that, that has stopped that ASB. So I haven't got the stats, but I can tell you from perhaps completion of this that it does help, it is useful. In areas in relation to crime prevention, burglaries, it's helpful for detection for vehicles coming in and out. We're also trying to find some private funding to get some ANPR cameras. They're the ones that record registration number of vehicles, and if we can get 6 or 7 of those, I'm hoping to get those on, pull them rapidly for the back lanes between Trafford and Wythenshawe. And that will build a very good intel picture on vehicles, where they're going, which routes they're taking, which we can then use for prosecutions. But they're about £7,000 a pop, so I'm looking for the loans to see if we can buy 6 of them. That will make sense.
Yeah, and the second question was very helpful, thank you. And the second question was about neighbourhood watch. You said where it's implemented, it reduces crime. Same question. What's your evidence to say that it does work and experience?
Yeah,
do you have a benchmark of what a good scheme is that people can copy?
That's why this gent's going to do that. I haven't got those stats to hand, but the National Neighbourhood Watch scheme is now a national charity. It isn't run by the police anymore, it's run by this charity, and they've got stats in relation to that show that it does fall where you've got those, and that's kind of a proper size. I know to yourself.
I have got national.
Have you?
14%.
14%?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's
substantial.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.